Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me once again the one and only Kenneth Bertholomey. Kenneth, it's good to have you back on the show.
It's good to see you too, man. Thank you for having me on again, man. It's a
You're
pleasure.
welcome. Yeah, it's been fun, and I'm excited about today's video. We're going to be talking about chakras, and I think some people overlook the importance of chakras. They are so important. Wouldn't you agree?
I completely agree with you, man. Especially when we're talking about mastering reality. Mastering ourselves is where we start, right? And the chakras are connected to every aspect and function of our reality, right? Each chakra teaches us an aspect of ourself as well as an outward aspect of reality, right? So as we move up the chakras, we raise our level of consciousness to living in a higher state, at a much more blissful state, and where we're more connected to the world around us instead of feeling isolated and alone, which is where most people feel, you know?
hmm I think that sometimes a lot of people have physical illnesses or just get sick, and a lot of times they don't realize it's because they have one of their chakras is blocked or that energy is just being blocked somewhere. You agree with that?
100%. Each one of the chakras is fundamentally connected to an aspect of your body and also an aspect of your outward world as well. So when there's an imbalance or blockage in these chakras, then it's going to be a imbalance in the body and in your physical world. So same way flipped. When we bring these areas into balance, you know, we feel better. We're able to navigate reality in a much more fluid way. You know what I'm saying?
hmm Yeah, definitely. Now, I know that Buddha was a good example of that. What can we learn from his example relating to the chakras?
Buddha focused on the third eye chakra. He's got some beautiful teachings, right? And even the Buddha knew that this entire place, that the entire reality is all coming from the mind, right? So this is also learning how to silence the mind, which is a completely another aspect of the chakras altogether. There's another way for people to be living. Most people live in a hellish realm of the mind, where they have a constant chatter, that constant chaos of blah 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 inside the mind at all times, right? So
hmm
what we need to realize is that there is an off switch. This is what I teach in my private sessions. There's another way to be living your life. When I walk around through my day, there are no thoughts that go through my mind whatsoever. The only time thoughts come inside my mind is if I choose to generate the thoughts or if I channel something outside myself. Right. And when you reach this level of consciousness, you get access to more of your manifestation power. You're able to get deeper psychic gifts and psychic impressions, visions inside your mind. And then now we're able to take these images or use energy inside the mind and project it outwards. And then this is where psychokinesis and all the other psychic gifts and abilities come online, because now we're working with the mind, right? So
hmm
when you silence your mind, think about it as having the best friend you've ever had inside your mind at all times. Right? It's the body, your subconscious mind. Whenever the Buddha was speaking on meditation and becoming getting control of the mind, he was speaking on controlling the flow of thoughts through the mind, right? And so whenever we're able to stop this flow of thoughts, we're able to it's chaotic for people to constantly think thoughts all day long, every day, right? So it drains you of your avatar. Most people at the end of the day, they need a cup of coffee to make it through the day, because they have no energy. They're running on low energy because they've been thinking thoughts all day long. Whenever you silence your mind, you get an increase in energy as well, because now we can use that energy toward another area of your life.
hmm Well said. Well said. Now, would you say that a healthy diet and regular exercise really helps the chakra flow, the flow of energy a lot?
It does. It's extremely important, man. That's where I started, was Kundalini yoga, right? So when we first start out in this process of opening the chakras, what we need to do is to raise the energy in the body. Most people are operating from a place of low energy because they were never taught how to properly cultivate their energy. Eating is a primitive form of energy cultivation. It will never give you the amount of energy that you need. Most people eat a very toxic diet. So this not only doesn't give you the energy, but it drains you of energy, because your body has to work harder to break these things down. So your diet, especially as a magician, a witch, or a sorcerer, you're trying to increase your power and increase your spell casting, your manifestation, whatever it is you're wanting to work on. So this is also draining you when you eat a thick, dense food. your
Mm-hmm.
body oscillates or vibrates at a lower rate of speed, right? So when you eat a higher vibrational food, something that's light like fruits or vegetables only, a plant-based diet, your body vibrates at a faster rate, right? So you're able to pick up on other frequencies that are outside the just the normal three-dimensional space. And so controlling what you eat is it's also connected to this is the willpower chakra. What we're talking about is the solar plexus. This is the sun chakra. All right. This is the seat of the soul. This area is literally responsible for every energy ounce of energy that you have in your body, right? So when we learn to bring energy in through this by eating a proper diet, you're going to have more energy to do everything that you're wanting to do in your life instead of just going home and going to sleep because you're tired. You don't have any energy for the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look around, everyone, when you go to places like Walmart, you look around, everyone around you is sick. Everyone, right? It's because what do they all have in common? They're all eating the same toxic food. We were all born into bondage. We were all born into slavery. Our families taught us to eat the wrong type of energy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
another way that we can bring in more energy into the body is through grounding. Things like working with the trees, working with the sun, working with the moon, right? When we're talking about energy cultivation, especially working with the sun or the moon, you're going to get an increase in consciousness, right? So, and this does a few things. It not only brings more energy into the body, but it also takes you to the realization that you are all things, right? So working with the sun is electric and the moon is magnetic. Your body is electromagnetic vessel, an avatar, right? So this is the two aspects of energy that we need on a daily basis. When we eat things like an apple, you can think of an apple as a barcode, right? A battery that absorbs energy from the sun and it holds that energy. You consume that energy and that's what turns into the flesh, turns into the blood, turns into these areas of your life. When we eat things like meat, processed food, or fake sugar or sugar, these things are all acidic. These are acid based. The body's an alkaline environment. So when you put acid inside the body in an alkaline environment, it causes death and decay inside the body and it causes the body to shut down. It causes poison of the blood and it causes the organs to malfunction. So eating your diet, a plant-based diet is extremely important, one of the most important aspects to a magician's life. If you read any of the greats, they all preach this. They all preached a vegetarian diet. They all ate vegetarian, fruit or
Mm-hmm.
fruitarian.
So you really wouldn't recommend someone's diet who, let's say, likes to eat a lot of steak, a lot of chicken, a lot of pork, kind
Okay,
of cut down on that, is what you're saying.
let me explain to you why. So now we're moving up in the chakra system. Now we're talking about the heart chakra. All right. When you eat animals, you are you're keeping yourself from experiencing higher levels of empathy, compassion, and love. All right. Whenever you stop eating animals and you eat a plant-based diet, you're going to get an increase in empathy, compassion, and love because now you have enough love and compassion to not eat the animal, right? So again, it's just another necessary step to open the heart chakra. And when you
Mm-hmm.
open the heart chakra, I would say 90%. I read energy for thousands of people all over the world. So most people operate in a closed heart chakra because they've been through so much trauma in their life. They shut it off and they never knew how to. Nobody ever taught them how to open it back up or how to work through their trauma, which is something I teach in all my private sessions. But when we work through our trauma, you open the heart chakra. You're able to engage with the reality around you in a completely new way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the opening the heart chakra is life changing.
Okay. Okay. Well said. Now, let's let's talk about correspondences with the chakras. So let's take, for instance, someone who does public speaking or people who sing. You know, it would be wise for them to kind of focus on their throat chakra and kind of,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
completely. Yes, man. And so the throat chakra, let's talk about that. So that's a beautiful point. So the throat chakra is the way that your sound chakra it is the way you express yourself to the world, right? So when this is blocked by lies. This is blocked by the lies that you tell yourself, and it's also blocked by the lies that we tell other people in the form of people pleasing, right? So our entire life we were always taught through civilization to people please, to not hurt other people's feelings, but they fucking lied to you, right? So you came
Mhm.
here to express yourself authentically in all things. So when we tell people things that we speak how we don't really feel. Do you see how where there's a misalignment there? So when you hear practitioners talk about getting into alignment is where we align the mind, our throat, the words we speak, and then the way we feel, all in sync and in unity. And this is how you're going to achieve greater manifestations, right? So to pull this chakra open, we need to become the most honest that you have ever been in your entire life. And what does the throat chakra feel like or sound like is another thing, because we need to identify, well, what does that feel like? So a blocked throat chakra is something where you're trying to speak and articulate yourself, but you get you can't get the words out, or you fumble your words, or,
Right.
your tongue gets tied, things like that. That's a blocked throat chakra.
Yeah, that's kind of like when people are lying, you can tell they're lying because they stutter, and
Yes.
the words don't come out smoothly.
Yes.
That's a
Listen.
result of the chakra being blocked, right?
Yes. Yeah, man, the truth stands tall like a mountain, right? So when we're listening to information, you don't have to fucking go research it, man. You can feel it. You can feel if someone is speaking the truth or whether they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and
It's kind go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go.
No, I was gonna say that's kind of like, like say we've dealt with ex-girlfriends where it's like we know they're lying and they're cheating. We can feel it. They say they're somewhere or they did something, and I never messed with that person. But you can feel
Yes.
that, I know in my gut you're lying. Something's off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if in the past when I would cheat on a partner, I would be trying to make up a lie and I would stutter and stammer and not being able to get out the correct sentence to cover. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you open the chakra, you won't have that problem. You'll be able to articulate yourself and express yourself exactly the way you want to, which is allow you to establish better bonds, connections with your relationships. This is where you learn to the communication is the key aspect to your entire reality when it comes to making advancements. You're wanting to make advancements in areas of life, and that's gonna detail interacting with the world around you, right?
Mm.
So this takes us sacral chakra. All right. So the sacral chakra is the chakra that is over the sexual energy in the body. It is the sexual energy and it's the creative energy. All right.
Mhm.
So when we think about sex, most people think about the physical act of sex, but what they don't take into account and realize is that your entire life you came here to do two things. You came here to have sex with the world, and you came here to be creative, right? And what I mean by that is literally, fucking the world is your everyday experience. You literally, sex is defined as an energy exchange between all things. So as you're moving throughout your everyday life, you're with anybody or anything that comes within a 6 foot radius of you, you have biosensors that are covering your entire avatar. You're constantly exchanging information with everything that you come into contact with. And so that act alone is considered sex. So once we take that and apply that to our friendships, our relationships, and our work life, that's how you can master those areas, because now we're treating others the way we want to be treated, and we've got an equal balance of sexual energy in our life. Does that make sense?
That does make perfect sense. So now there are more than 7 chakras. Is that correct?
There are 13 main chakras.
Hmm. A
13,
lot of people
13 main
overlook the.
chakras.
Yeah, go ahead.
They do the 13 are often overlooked because it's a work in progress to master the first 7 chakras. That's why you see most people focus on just the 7 main chakras. Um, Working through those, it's a task unto itself. It takes a little bit of time and practice, right? So there's a lot to learn when it comes to the chakras. I've spent 3 years working on them, and I mean, every day I'm still learning information. So there's a lot to learn when it comes to them. Like for example, like when your root chakra is off, like what does that feel like?
You're not
You
able
don't
to
feel.
communicate. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're not able to communicate because you don't feel safe and secure, right?
Hmm.
Um, when we have an imbalanced root chakra, this is the home life and the financial area. So our home life is the temple, right? And so when we have imbalances there and the disruptions there, we're not able to express ourselves creatively through the sacral chakra, which is moving up the ladder. So this is where everybody needs to start, is the root chakra, bringing the area of the home life and the financial area into balance. And this is it doesn't mean we have a bank account full of money or 5 cars in the driveway. This means that we feel good about the way we're living our life at our house, and then our intake of inflow of money. So
Hmm.
I've read energy for homeless people that had a balanced root chakra because they felt secure and safe with how they're living their life.
Hmm. Okay. Now, What would you say to some people who are they're struggling with opening their third eye? They can't seem to get that open, and they've tried different kinds of exercises. I've come across some people like that. What kind of advice would you give to them?
That's a beautiful question, man. So the first thing we have to come to the understanding of is this system is completely designed to keep you stuck in a lower state and a lower vibration. So the first area that you have to work on is you have to remove any type of city water or public water that you're putting inside of your body. Any kind of tap water. You must not drink it or put it inside the body whatsoever. It not only has fluoride, but it has other harmful chemicals that are specifically targeted that affect the crystals around the pineal gland. And what it does, that these chemicals, it calcifies, it causes the crystals to form a secretion over them that doesn't allow them to oscillate or vibrate at the rate they're supposed to, right? And so this is what causes that chakra to block. This is why the entire population's chakra is blocked, because most of them are on some type of tap water, right? So the water you want to be drinking is alkaline, preferably, or reverse osmosis water only, right? And then taking it a step further, the way you're going to pull this open, this is blocked by illusions. So most people have an idea or concept inside their mind about what they think this place is, or what they think they are, or about their life. This is blocked. It blocks them in an expansion, because if you have illusions built in your mind about what you think reality already is, well, then you're not able to make a breakthrough in expansion. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So what we do is, man, we learn to come to a point where we learn to say, I don't have a fucking clue where I am or what this place is or where I'm going, right? We start brand new. We throw everything we've learned this point out the window, and we burn all those old constructs to the ground. And what you're going to do is you're going to rebuild with a childlike sense of wonder, operating off your
Okay.
operating off a firsthand experience only, so that you're not relying on anyone else's information for you to build your world. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah. And
Um,
man, and then practicing with it is the biggest part, practicing the visualization, which is the key concept, and to magic, to creating anything you want in life, right? We need to see it in the mind first in order for it to achieve the state that we want it to be in.
hmm hmm Well said. Now, what chakra would you say is most people have a problem with that tends to be blocked most often in
That's a great
society?
question. That's beautiful, man. And so the common chakra, that reason why the world is the way it is because everyone is walking around with a closed heart chakra.
hmm
Everyone. I'm talking 95% of the population, right? So this is blocked by pain. This is trauma that people have been through in their life, and this is emotional trauma and psychological trauma that they hold inside their auric field and inside the biofield in the upper torso, right? So this pain, it keeps that chakra closed, so that you don't experience love in all its many assets and forms. Love, just that word, people think they have an understanding or meaning, but love is something that we are in a constant state of evolution with, and understanding what that word actually means.
hmm
And and so when we talk about interacting with the world around you, and if we're not doing that from a place of an open heart chakra, man, you're going to feel disconnected. You're going to feel cold, isolated, um, many negative aspects to life.
hmm Yeah, you see so much of that. I mean, especially since society tries to push negativity on you. Like
Yes.
we mentioned, like with
Yes.
the news, and you turn on TV, you turn on the radio. A lot of the movies, a lot of the music, it's geared towards negativity. And
Yes.
they want everyone to feel negativity.
Yes, man. Because if they didn't brainwash you and indoctrinate you and constantly bombard you, you would arise to great height. The world would be has never seen before, man. You are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. The problem is that we've been constantly beat down and bombarded our entire life, and told that we are little insignificant nothings and have no meaning in this world. But the funny thing is that the exact opposite is true.
Mhm.
You're all gods, right? We are all gods in this form, and the way we learn to express that defines our reality.
You can actually see that like in religion, mainstream religion. They
Yes.
they teach you that, oh, you're nothing, deny yourself, and God is everything, and he's a jealous God, and you just it teaches you to constantly put yourself down. You know,
Yes,
people are
yes,
looking for that
yes,
spiritual awakening, but the teachings in mainstream religion teach you to just put yourself down. And that's a big
yes,
problem. Do you agree?
yes. Man, I completely agree. And I want to offer this and a warning to anyone watching. Going forward from this point in your life, you will no longer put your power outside yourself ever again. You are the highest form of knowledge, authority, and information in this place. And you need to see that in yourself. And it's just a matter of the timeline catching up to where we actually feel that and it fucking generates. And that's the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times people feel like they've been conditioned to put their power outside of themselves, and that's where you first go wrong, because now all of a sudden it renders you powerless.
Hmm. It does. It does. I agree. Now, you work a lot with the tarot, and a lot of
Yes,
people watching this work with the tarot.
yes.
Is there something you can suggest where you kind of combine the two and work with the chakras using the tarot? Is there a method that you know of?
Man, that's a great question. Yeah. So normally what I do is I in the beginning I use the pendulum and I use the tarot deck. Right. The pendulum, I'm not, everyone watching this needs to go and buy one and put it in your pocket, and you take it with you everywhere you go every day and master it. The pendulum is the most self-transformational tool that I have ever come into contact with in my entire life. When you work with the pendulum, what you're going to eventually do is that, think of that as the training wheels. We eventually, after mastering this, you eventually learn to use the body as a pendulum, so that you put the physical one away and you begin to use your body as a pendulum. So when you see me readings, I'm doing my readings. Whenever you see me swaying back and forth or forward, front to back, I'm getting answers or talking to my chakras. All your chakras are independent bodies of consciousness that will talk to you, that will have a physical conversation with you in one way, shape, or form, when we learn to open these and then work with them. Right? Most
Hmm.
people see themselves as just one consciousness, but it most certainly is not. You are many, many independent bodies of consciousness that are working together.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Now, I know that some people, a lot of people, like let's say, who like to go ghost hunting, a lot of them tend to get, some of them tend to get possessed or have spirit attachments on them when they come back home from visiting
Yes.
graveyards and haunted places. Would you say that sometimes the reason people get possessed or have some kind of big spiritual influence as a result of that is because it's an issue with their crown chakra? Would you agree with that?
That's yeah, yeah. So that more or less, from my understanding, has to do with a person's trauma. Right. So if people are in a lower vibrational state, if you're not operating in higher from the heart higher, then you're vulnerable to attacks from entities and things that you can't see. Right. Different
Mhm.
forms, whatever words we want to put on those things. So when, let's say, you don't even have to just go to a graveyard, man. You could be walking through Walmart and you walk past someone that has an entity, like a level 5 entity attachment to them. That entity is going to reach out to you and drain energy from you. And all this happens on a level that you can't see with your eyes. So one minute you're walking down the aisle and you're fine, you feel good, and then out of nowhere an argument explodes between you and your partner, and it's chaos erupts. Right.
Mhm.
Anytime these things happen, we have to evaluate what's happening around us. And this is where these attacks come from. It comes from an energy transference. It's one entity trying to take energy from another. And sometimes it's a volatile situation because the two are clashing.
Mhm. Okay. Now, um, what entities would you suggest that we petition that can help most with our chakras if we're having issues?
Man, that's a beautiful question. I can't answer that because I can't answer that right now. That's a beautiful question though.
Okay.
I don't have enough experience on that level working with them. Listen, it's a good question, but the main focus is that working with the chakras is personal experience that needs to only be had with you, your body, your higher self. Your body is the higher self. Your body
Mhm.
is the subconscious mind, the seat of the soul. So opening the chakras is about establishing the bond and the connection between your conscious mind and your body, your subconscious mind, the masculine and the feminine. When you
Mhm.
connect these two, you're uniting those two principles so that the two become one. And you're operating no longer in a state of separation, but now we are operating from a state of oneness. And this
Mhm.
is what self-mastery is going to teach you through the process.
Okay. Now, every time you look at a picture of Buddha, he's always sitting under a tree, you know, meditating,
Yes.
and you know, focusing on the chakras. What is it about the
Yes.
significance of sitting under a tree that is so important that he when he
Yes.
has
Yes.
that
So
ability?
the tree symbology, the tree represents the spinal column, and the tree going up into the top where the branches expand represents going up through the crown chakra into the 1,000-petaled lotus when the crown chakra is open. Right? Think of your crown chakra as an antennae, and it allows for a greater energy exchange across the web of all things.
Mhm,
Right? So this, when we have an open crown chakra, you're able to access different points in time and space when it comes to pulling energy from the field of all things. Right?
mhm,
So the tree. So he was sitting under a tree to let you know that the tree is one of the most powerful forms and grounding techniques that exists. Right. So if you're wanting to ground your energy, you go underneath a tree. You spread the fingers in your hand. This activates the energy and it lets the mind know that the body is ready to push energy. Right. You put your hands on the tree, and in your mind, you're going to say to yourself over and over again, I am the tree. I am the tree. I am the tree, over and over and over again for 3 to 5 minutes.
mhm,
As you're doing this, you're going to keep your eyes closed and you're going to see energy going from the tree into your entire body. All right. And you're going to be doing this and you're going to start feeling a tingling sensation coming into your hands the more you do this. All right. And this is where everybody needs to start out because everybody is operating on a place of low energy. Every day for the rest of your life, you need to be going outside and touching the barefoot to the ground for 30 minutes to an hour a day. The tree expedites that energy exchange. The tree allows for a larger energy transference to take place so that you can charge your avatar in a faster time than it would take for you to walk around on the ground. So that's the aspect of the tree.
mhm. Now you mentioned about, you know, as far as the chakras, it's good, you know, working with the sun, working with the moon also. You
Yes.
mentioned about, you know, eating plant-based foods that were, you know, empowered by the sun,
Electric,
you know,
electrically charged. Yes.
electrically charged.
Electrically charged. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's say if someone is meditating, focusing on their chakras under the sun versus under the moon, what would be the main difference?
That's a great question. So when we work with the sun, this is raising the masculine energy in the body. When we work with the moon, this is raising the feminine energy in the body. At all times, there is a balance to all things. You must maintain that balance. Too much masculine energy in your field, it will cause an imbalance. This is why you see people in the light and love community that their life is completely out of balance because they are tipping the scales too far one way. They cannot embrace their darkness and it will forever hold them back. So we must work with both light and dark and keep the scales balanced. This is working with the moon just as much as we work with the sun. The moon is the magnetic energy, and this it attracts different parts of the chakras, different chakras. So the moon is the upper chakras, the psychic energy, the third eye, the crown, and even into the throat. So this is also the air element as the upper chakras as well.
Mhm. Yeah, basically, we're a battery. You know, you have the positive charge and the negative charge, and you need both to be equal in order to keep that energy flowing and that current of power flowing.
As above, so below. Yes.
Exactly. Well, that's a lot of great information, and I like your perspective on the chakras. I'm glad you came on.
Thank
Everyone
you,
who's
man.
watching, make sure you check out the links below in this video. You can check out his YouTube. You can check out his TikTok. Kenneth's services. There's a link to that. You can book an appointment with him. He's amazing. Also, make sure you check out Dark Sorcery's other platforms. We just got onto X/Twitter. We just reached 300 followers. It's a new page. You know, the more I use X, the more I like it. I officially like it now, so check those out. But everyone who's watching, check out Kenneth's links and like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery.
You guys have a beautiful day.